Hey, Abe Safa here. In this video, I want to talk about a question that you hear very frequently if you're a listing agent going on a listing presentation. And that question is, why should I hire you? So you're going to hear this a lot, especially in listing presentations where the client or the seller is going to be interviewing multiple agents, right? So that's going to be a common question, and you should always be prepared for that. So now, how do you prepare for that? Well, first and foremost, you have to be really clear on what your value is. What are you bringing to this industry? What are you bringing to that client and to all of your clients that makes you stand out from the rest? What's special about you? Why should they hire you? And if you can't answer that question to yourself, you're never going to be able to answer it to a client. So it's really important that you're very clear on what your value is and what you could bring to the table. So that's the basis there, right? You should always have that as a default if you need to go to it. But now here's a better way to be prepared for that question, right? It's all about the pre-qualification conversation that you have with that person. The conversation that you had when you set the appointment should consist of a series of questions that pre-qualify the client. Things like, you want to know going in, okay, why are they selling? Where are they moving to? What happens if it doesn't sell? How quickly do they want to sell? You also want to know, are they the decision maker when you get to a listing appointment? Does someone else need to be there to make that decision? All these things you're asking for, and you also want to know what kind of price that they're looking to get. What are they expecting? So all these things leading up to a listing presentation, you should already know, you should be prepared, and that's what you're going to be presenting in a listing appointment. Now, one more thing that you need to do every single time before you meet a client is ask the simple question, what are you looking for in an agent? Okay, what are the 2 or 3 things that you want to see in a real estate agent when you work with them? And those are the things they're going to tell you what they're looking for, right? Then based on what they tell you and that question comes up, why should I hire you? What your response is going to be, Mr. Seller, that is a great question. I'm so glad you asked that, because many times sellers don't ask that question, or they forget to ask that question, and they end up picking an agent just based on a gut feeling or based on something that they hear. But I'm so glad you asked that, and let me tell you exactly why you should hire me for this job. And then you're going to go on and you're going to mention the things that they told you were important to them, right? And then you're going to go into detail as to why you're qualified, or you're the best qualified to be able to deliver those things to them when you work with them. It's that simple. It comes with, number one, knowing your value, okay? That you can also bring that to the conversation if need be, but most importantly, knowing what their wants and needs are and what they're looking for, what their idea of a good agent is. Knowing that in advance, you wrap your listing presentation based on those things, and then that's what you deliver in the listing presentation, and you're going to nail it. Because they're going to forget that they actually gave you the ammunition, they actually gave you the data that you need to present to them in that listing presentation. And then when you deliver it, they're going to be like, wow, this is the guy I've been looking for. So being strong in the listing presentation, knowing exactly how to handle that question, starts off by pre-qualifying that lead in a strong manner. So make sure you're asking the right questions before you walk into that listing presentation, so you're prepared and you're not blindsided. Hope that helps.